I'm going to check on my phone. And usually I catch my YouTube folks at like 9 o'clock at night. So this might be a little early. They probably like this, that I'm not hitting them so late at night. Let's see. Are we live?
I'm on my laptop looking at it. How do I get to it? 'Cause I just now it popped up on my phone, but I didn't see it on my laptop.
Okay. You know what? I think it has to be like you have to have YouTube notifications on your computer. Okay. So I'm going to pause my video so I don't hear any sound coming through. We have a few people online. I see Erica, Ken. Hey, what's up? Quiet Train. Quiet Train, what's your name? I'm sure I know your real name on the Facebook group.
My husband's name is Malcorn.
Oh, okay. So who is... Oh, I'm looking online at the comments right now. I'm trying to see who Quiet Train is.
Okay.
I see Rona. Rona's here. So, yeah, we got a little audience tonight. Okay. So, as you all know, we're doing a live demonstration of all over shirt design that we're going to do tonight. Pulling from, I think, I kind of want to use this template here if y'all can see. It might be a little bit delayed. But this one has like some little broken pieces. I'm thinking we can make it look like frosted, kind of like just shattered ice, because I know your theme is the ice. And then we're going to play with what image we're going to put on the side design. We'll put the boys in there, and then we'll just play with it, see where it goes. So before I do anything else, let me save as, because I'll be saving up on my files. All right, so we're going to call this one Ice Basketball. And what's the name of the team, by the way?
It's the Ballers.
The Ballers?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So and essentially, I know you have the photos you want to put on there, and I'm about to, I use Remove BG, so I'm letting y'all know my little tips and tricks. So Remove BG is how I got the background out of there without having to do it on Photoshop. And I'm going to go ahead and download that one. And then there's another one. I don't know how well it's going to remove the background, but we're about to see in just a second.
Okay.
So that one. Let's see. This one was like a little bit smaller of a file, but I think it should work. Oh, and another thing is, if you have the sound going on the laptop, you might want to turn the sound off of the laptop or the computer, because it'll echo in the phone.
Okay.
And then that way we get a clean connection. Oh, look how I got the person in the background taking a picture or something. What is going on? Let's see. We got the logo on the ground. Like, most of the stuff is no problem that it got, because we can blend it into the image. And then I see I'll have to clean up here a little bit. It took off some of the face. So let's edit this picture. And this is actually a high resolution picture, so this is good. Let's edit it. Now, you can do this on Remove BG. If y'all are just getting into Photoshop, Remove BG is going to be one of your best friends. If you have a paid subscription, which is what I'm using my paid subscription, so I have these little tokens or credits. So I'm using a credit right now to download the high resolution, because if you download the low resolution, it's not going to look too well blown up on the shirt. So right now we can see that it removed a part of his face here. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see what we're missing. And we'll go to Restore. Restore will give us the ability to bring back some of this image here.
Okay.
And not see anything else that may have come out. I'm thinking it might have gotten a little too much there. And then we'll manually take out anything here. But I'm thinking I'm missing some here too. So this arm. Now, is this basketball part? Am I missing something here? Hold on. So that's the hand. Oh, that's a trophy, right? Or like a basketball?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I was like, I saw a little hand on the basketball. I was like, I'm sure that's not the hand that goes with it. And then I see background images, so I wasn't sure if it was somebody in the background. And of course, I see somebody back here. We can probably have to erase them out. And yeah. So this is going to be a more of a rough cut, and I'll show y'all how to clean it up in Photoshop.
Okay.
And then every once in a while, I'll check on the chat and see if anybody has questions as we go. I need to pull that back in. And as a matter of fact, we might just pull this whole one into Photoshop right now. Because I see it's messing up on a lot. And I think it's because it's a high resolution image by file size, but not necessarily like a high resolution image by pixels. So it's confused. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep the picture whole. And then what we're going to do is kind of fade around the part that we don't need here. So let's start pulling that in. I got my PNG version of the boys looking out. Oh, and you have a young lady here too, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, representing. Okay. All right, and then we have. All right, and then we'll find a way to pull this photo in too. Let's see what else we have going on here. Then now the and I'm going to bring this image in just to show everybody, but this one here, you just like how the ice was in the foreground, is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I don't necessarily need this image because I have some ice. What's that?
These are the one with the lightning. He said that you had was beautiful.
The lightning?
Use that extra jersey on.
Gotcha. All right, so we have our colors now, and it looks like on this one the color's a little more like Carolina blue, and this one's a little more ice blue. Is it more one way than the other, or do y'all have like different uniforms?
It's only one uniform, the blue one.
Okay, so which color is most likely, the one that doesn't have the background cut out, or the one that has the background cut out? Because I'm gonna make the colors match.
The one that you're moving right now.
Okay, so we're going with more of the ice blue color. And yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and I can start pulling in some of my elements. So I really like this pattern. I want to use it somewhere, and we'll change up the colors too. So just because something comes in like a teal blue or a bright blue, we're going to figure out how we're going to use it. But my first step is I just bring in things that I like the look of and that I think will work well with the design, and then I'm going to replace some of the elements here. So for instance, we have a grunge background. Let's start with the background.
Okay.
We'll take this image and we're going to pull it into our background. And all I'm doing now, I'm just duplicating it so I can have two different versions of it in the back.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off the black glow just a second so we can see what we're working with. And then I also have some layer effects on here. You see how I was changing everything to purple and gold?
Yeah.
So those are all effects. So later when you edit this type of template, you'll be able to go in and change all of these things that we're changing today. So right now, let's do, I probably have a gradient map on here. Let's find out where it is.
Okay.
Right here. So what the gradient map is, I'm going to double click on it just to show you what it does. Everything that you have has a highlight, shadows, and midtones. So what you're telling this graphic to do right now is change my shadows, keep them black, but change my midtones to a purple and gold and make my highlights white. So what we're going to do is come up, well, we'll just take off the gradient map right now because we'll just see the clean blue and we're going to play with that.
Okay.
And then this photo, I'm going to turn it off for now so we can get a good idea. This photo, let's drag it to our original player photo location. And that's probably going to be our focal photo anyway.
Okay.
All right. Now, do we have any like mascot or anything like that that you all, logo, anything that you might want to put in there?
No.
Because you just work a magic. There's no mascot. But the eye and tiger looking nice.
What is the name of the team again?
Ballers. It's a recreational team, but they call themselves the Ballers.
The Ballers. And then we'll change all our fonts up and all that good stuff. We'll choose them a real cool font. So we'll do the and Ballers. I just want to keep that there so it'll remind me. And then if we want to do other words other than the Ballers, that's cool too.
Okay.
And of course, we don't need the fleur-de-lis in there. We can take that out. And let's bring in, I have a few different ices that I wanted to bring in. 1, 2, and 3. Let's see how those work. And we'll bring those to the front, right up underneath the text. So they'll go in front of everything. So we have one. I think this one is more like the one that was with the Elsa picture where you see more like the ice cubes.
Yes.
This one. I'll take out the words right now. That was not as clean as I like it, but I can always clean it up. And then this one.
Okay.
I think that's the one that's like the Elsa image. And this one is too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to have some options because sometimes when I pull images in, even though they say they're high resolution, they don't necessarily look so great blown up, but I think these work. And then what we'll end up doing is now we'll end up changing the color. So right now it's a little too blue to look as icy as we want it to look. So we're going to go to our layer, do an adjustment layer. We'll do Hue Saturation.
Okay.
And I'm going to brighten it up, just a little, lighten it up a little bit. And then bring down the saturation so it looks a little bit more like that icy kind of cool but not so vibrant blue.
Okay.
And then we're going to do the same thing to the background.
Okay.
Let's do a layer, new adjustment layer, Hue Saturation. And let's bring the saturation down, lighten this up. And then for this one, it had more of a teal look to it. So we're actually going to move the hue too because we want it to be a little more blue than green. So we're shifting the color over to the blue a little bit.
Okay.
And then for this one also, what I'm going to do is do a layer effect. We're going to do some level changes here. And with the levels change, it changes where your highlights, your midtones, and your shadows are relative to one another.
Okay.
And I just wanted to look real icy. So I think we're getting there. It's starting to look icy. I think that's good.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And we have the side images on here, but I don't think we necessarily need them at this moment. So I'm going to turn them off. If I need them, I'll bring them back. And I have some like sparklers on here. I think we'll turn the sparklers. If you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. They're gold right now, but let's make them silver instead.
Okay.
So we'll do that. I'm going to do a layer. Let's go ahead and we'll do a hue saturation. And anytime you take saturation and bring it all the way down, it makes that, whatever that value is, it makes it gray. So you kind of, if you have a gold, you automatically will get a silver. And then if you want it darker or lighter, you can change the lightness. But I think I like it like just like that. And then we'll alt drag that adjustment layer to the other glitter mark. And it kind of looks cool in the silver too.
Yes, it does.
So we might even end up playing with some gradients and stuff here. You know, I'm all about some gradients. Let's do a clipping mask so that we get that silver on there. So I am thinking we need a little bit of contrast here between the foreground and the background. And there's a lot of blue going on. So we probably will throw that silver and that gray in the mix.
Okay.
So let's see. Got our little shards here, and I do like the shards. I'm still seeing a little bit. I'm going to bring this hue saturation change right above that group so it'll apply to both of these layers. Create a clipping mask, and there we go. And anytime I'm tiling something that is not tileable, like this background, what I do, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to do it over again just to show you. So I have my original image. What I'll do is I will duplicate that image.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Control T, and I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. And then hope that by the time I drag it down, it looks like, at least visually, like a continuation of the image above it. Okay. It's just kind of a way of tricking you into thinking that you have a bigger background image.
Okay.
And then the next thing that I do is the one that I just flipped. I'm going to make sure it fits both of these. And I'm just going to fade off the top of it so it will blend in better.
Okay.
You see how I see that little hard line right where it repeats? So we're going to take care of that. We're going to grab our paintbrush, do a layer mask, and it's white. So white's going to reveal. And we're going to use the black paintbrush, a soft brush, and that's going to conceal. So we'll go right across the top of that line there, and it just faded it off. And now we can't really tell where it starts or stops. All right, same thing. I'm going to do the same exact thing to the image. If I don't find something that's going to go in front of it, I'll do the same thing to the bottom of my pictures because I never like to see my pictures just abruptly cut off. But we're also going to have words right here, so it may not be that apparent. We'll see when we get to that point.
Okay.
And I'm going to shrink my logo. That's just to show while we're recording that it's my video. But I'm going to move it out of the way so we can get into these graphics a little bit more. Now, we'll take the crown off. And like I said, we need to create a little bit of contrast here. So what I'm going to do is start fading some gray in somewhere. So let's see where we're going to do that. Let's go in front of our background image. Let's add a new layer. And I'm just going to grab my brush right now. And I'm going to paint some gray.
Okay. When you're on Photoshop, do you have to buy brushes or does it come with brushes?
It definitely comes with some brushes. I have a brush pack that I sell that has a lot of things like the fire, clouds, lightning, and we're going to use some of those today to kind of make it look like it's got other elements involved into it. But you can also, there's a website called brusheasy.com that has free brushes. I just like certain brushes, especially my paint brushes that look like splattered paint or look like watercolor. I find them to be a little more high quality. So it just depends on how you want to, like what effects you want and how you want to play with it.
Okay.
And now I'm just playing with the blend mode of this gray that I just put on here because I want to see, do I want the gray to kind of take over and make it look silver in those areas, or what I'm kind of getting the visual interest for. And this is just a part of playing with the files.
Okay.
And I'm thinking we're going to end up using the color blend mode, but we'll see once we get down. I think color is one of the last ones. So I think I do like it being a little more silver in some places. You let me know what you think about that. So the color,
okay,
you still see the icicles, but it's kind of like silvered out. So their blue jerseys kind of stick out a little bit more.
Okay.
And let's see their photo. Now what I'm going to do for the photo is go ahead and add a layer mask to it. And I'm going to grab my paintbrush and just lightly come across the bottom there to kind of fade them off. And I might even, let me reduce my brush size a little bit so I can take off a little bit less. And all I'm trying to avoid is I don't want to see those hard lines. I want the design to look like it flows. And then up here towards the top on the same idea, I think what I'm going to do is pull in a little bit of white around the sleeves. And then that way if we want to put some accents like a logo, like we don't have a logo, but we'll find something to put on there. So we'll take the same layer and we'll create a new layer. And here's the thing too, although I don't have any effects on this layer, just my blend mode, if I copy this layer style and paste it on the new layer, it's going to give it the same blend mode. So if I go in with the white, and we might even go in with black. So white kind of cleans that up a little bit. I'm trying to see if I want to. I think I'm going to do this one normal. And I just faded my white there. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And then I'll Control T to transform it. Right click, I'm going to flip it horizontal so that it does the exact same thing on the other side of the sleeve.
Okay.
And then if I hold down shift, it makes sure that it doesn't let it go higher or lower than where it was before, so it kind of keeps it in that area. All right, so I'm getting somewhere. Looks like
Already
it's coming together, huh? All right. I hope, did the kids get to see this at all? Any of the team members?
No.
That's my son, the tallest one. So.
Yeah. So you should let the kids see this stuff. You'll be surprised that I have my niece and nephew will be on that tablet. I'm teaching them the Affinity program, and I probably will get them into the Photoshop version. But yeah, these kids will do this kind of stuff in a heartbeat. On a phone or a tablet, it's over. And that's why we got to catch up with them.
Yes.
Let me see. I'm trying to see if I like the lighter or the darker. What's that, love?
Which program you think is better, the Photoshop or the Affinity?
Photoshop, hands down, to me is better. And I explain that because Affinity is trying to catch up to Photoshop. So, you know, there's not going to be too much. It's going to be like the original at the time that it's at its peak. But I will tell you, Affinity is extremely powerful. It does a lot of the same things that Photoshop does. But it has some limitations right now. Like I'm struggling with the fact that it doesn't allow me to use my smart objects. That's kind of posing some problems. I actually develop Affinity templates as well, but I end up having to do a little extra work to make them Affinity templates.
Okay.
But I do use Affinity like on the tablets. It's a little less resource intensive. I'm gonna try my Photoshop out on my tablet and see, because I know a while back I couldn't even use Photoshop on my tablet. But I think Photoshop is catching on to Affinity, and it's trying to be a lot more user friendly and stable for some of the computers. Like if your computer can't run Photoshop, that's an indication right there that Photoshop is just a heck of a program. But once you do get things up to par and you can play with this tool, there's almost nothing that you can't imagine that you can't actually make look like it's there. So that is the benefit of it. I'm just playing with my little shadows now. Yeah, you're welcome.
All our business.
What's that?
I think he'll be getting all our business.
Oh yeah, and I'm all about working together too, because at the main point we got to be able to help one another.
Yes, I understand.
Come handy. We got 15 shirts to do with no program that's not happening.
Right. Oh, I understand. Oh yeah, I understand. And what's going to happen is by the time y'all go out there with these on, you're going to have even more business by the end of that game or tournament or whatever you're going to. Trust and believe. Have some cards handy. And matter of fact, why don't you put your logo? What's your business logo?
We don't have one yet. We're going to put the number at the bottom on it.
Okay. Well, what's the name of the business? What's the kind of flow you're going for?
We was looking at next on printing design.
You said next on?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we put next on there. Like it kind of goes with the basketball theme too, But yeah, if you're gonna be putting these things out, one thing I know, I've done enough, charity work and love work in the past to know that at the very least, get your name out there with it. At the very least.
Okay.
Because you're doing what you love to do, but at the same time, you should be recognized for it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna move my ice for just a little bit so I can see what else I have going down here. I was like, there was my triangle. I was like, where's my triangle? It's hidden. So I'm gonna move this layer up. And as a matter of fact, I think I have it linked. So triangle should be linked here. If I move one, it should move the other triangle. There we go. So Control T is allowing me to transform it. Make it a little smaller. Because what I want to do is I want to see this as part, I guess it's reminding me of like an iceberg or something. So I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a little too literal with my things, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta look this up. And I'll spend like an hour just trying to find like this ice background or something. Yeah. Don't worry, you'll have fun doing this real soon. whole days will be lost. Just pulling together your ideas. It's good.
To do it so bad, I invested in it, and she act like she didn't want to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? You start to see what the potential is of stuff, and you see what's going to happen is you're going to see how the kids get excited about it, and that's going to make you get even more excited. Because one thing I noticed, I didn't care too much about sports. I still to this day don't know too much about sports, but I love kids and I love supporting them. So I noticed when I can make their designs look super tough, like they're NBA players and, NFL players, and they actually want a picture of it for themselves. Like, oh, can I get one so I can put on it? Can I get a shirt? Can I put it on my wall? And I'm like, y'all won't, because you know how kids are. You know how especially these boys are. So if they think the design is hard enough, then I'm like, okay, that must be doing a little something.
I was like that also until my kids got in sports.
Yeah, but it shows you where your passion is. Your passion is for doing anything that encourages them, and that's how I am. I cannot watch an NFL game or an NBA game to save my life, but I can go to any kind of high school game, middle school game, and I watch the kids and I see their heart, and that's what gives me, the intention to watch them and cheer them on, and I'm yelling louder than the parents there. But yeah, I can't. I'm not a sports fan, but I will definitely root for them.
That's her.
Yep.
Free defense in my offense.
All right, so it's coming together. I'm trying to see where my little shadows are. I think I got some shadows on this glitter right here. Let me see what this glitter is. I want to pull that shadow off of that glitter just a little bit. Yep, that's where it is. I'm going to pull the shadow down just so I see the bling to the glitter, but it's not darkening it up so much. So I'll bring down my spread, bring down my size. That way it still looks like it's popping off, but it's not affecting my ice because the ice is coming back up. And here's a tip too, when you start working in Photoshop, I have all these layers over here on the side. If you right click on a part of the image that you think you're touching, it'll tell you everything that you're touching when you're clicking in that area. So that's how I know whether I'm touching I just don't know what the name of it is, I guess. That's what I'm trying to touch, the ice. Ice PNG. So because this ice is so huge, we're going to make this part of our text here. So we got to figure out something cool to use with the word ice, like what, or we could just come up with the team name or whatever and build it into the ice. We got to use, this ice has to serve this purpose right now. So what are we thinking for this ice?
Okay. I was thinking you probably put the name, the baller.
Okay, so yeah, yeah. The ballers.
Well, he said, could you put, he said the phrase you made up, you like that one.
That's what we tell them all the time.
Okay. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find out where that is, because I did that file not too long ago. If I show y'all how many graphic files I have, it'll probably break this whole YouTube connection right now. Hold on. Let's do, let's see. So what was it? It was offense wins games, defense wins
championship.
Okay. Offense, defense. Oh, of course, I gotta be on the right file type. And let's move this to a template file. Yep, I see it. It had like a blue design to it, Rickers Raiders on there.
I think it's good.
Okay. And even if I have to retype it, that shouldn't be bad.
Okay.
So let's take off the ballers real quick, and we'll do. So we could put offense wins games at the top, and then defense wins championships at the bottom. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Caps lock. No, we don't have to do caps lock on here because Photoshop has a way it will automatically capitalize everything. Offense. And let me know if I misspell something, because when I'm in my design mode, my spelling brain doesn't work. I don't know if that happens to y'all too, but if I'm in design mode, I don't read correct and I don't spell correct. I don't know what it is. It's something that shuts off. And then I'll look at it later, like when I'm out of design mode and I'm proofreading it, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't. Did I do that? All right. So let's choose us a cool kind of font here. Probably something a little bit straightforward. If you see anything that you like, tell me to stop, and we can do that. We can use that.
Okay.
And then all of them say sample. So when I'm going across fonts, like, what's that one right there? The one that says sample. And I'm like, they all say sample. If you look to the left, that's the name of the font.
I like that.
Which one was that?
I like that one. That was not too bad. The one before that.
The academic, this one? The one that looks like a athletic kind of font?
I think so, yes.
Now this is a very popular one. So this one is Academic M54. I use this one a lot, especially for sports.
Okay.
And it's a real just standard athletic look to it. So if if you're ever looking for like Letterman style text, that sort of thing, that's that one. And then what we're gonna have to do is scale our graphics a little bit, scale the effects a little bit, since we're shrinking it down.
Okay.
All right, so let's start off with the color. Instead of, as a matter of fact, let's do our effects here. And I wonder, I have a effect on the whole thing. So let's change this. So instead of the gold, I think maybe we'll go with the silver, just like we did for the bling. And let's do, instead of a color overlay, we're going to do a gradient overlay. And I'm thinking that, as a matter of fact, let me see if I have anything that already makes it look like iced out. You know how the kids are. Let me take off. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this text is pulled out of here. And our color, if we want to change the color of the text, let's go ahead and change it to white or black. And now we can go ahead and do our effects here. That one looks cool. And I probably can use this one, backing it up with a little bit. Go with this one, and then we'll Control T. Come on. Guess Photoshop is sensing I'm trying to do a little too much, so it's slowing up on me.
Okay.
Okay, so got that where I want it. I'm gonna duplicate this word offense. Duplicate the layer, and then I'm going to clear the layer. Clear that layer style. We're going to make it black, and let's do an offset to it, or what in Photoshop we call it a stroke. Let's do a black stroke, or outside. And now we'll start to see it kind of pop a little bit where we can see it.
Okay.
There we go. So we're going to use the word offense, and then we're going to take this same set. So we need this pair because the offense in the background gives the foreground image something to work off of. And then we'll change the word defense down here. And what I'm doing also, for those that are on YouTube as well, I'm linking these layers. So when I change offense and defense, they stay together, even though they are separate entities. So I'm going to change the word offense here to defense, DEFENSE. And then, of course, I have to change the second one. DEFENSE. So that makes sense now. And then let's get a little extra text down here. So we're going to say wins championships. Period. And this one I'm going to make this one look like the negative. So what I need to do is kind of end the block of this ice and make this look like it's going through the ice somehow. So let's do... And I'm holding down shift so I can disproportionately change up this ice. So I'm kind of smushing it a little bit. Alright.
Oh, that's nice. I like it.
So yeah, I try to switch up the font just a little bit, just so that you end up with a little bit of variation, because it makes you read things different when you see it in different fonts.
Okay.
All right, so we're getting there. And I think I think what I'm going to do the text in white, and I'm going to put a black box behind it to make it stand out just like the one that you saw. And I think what it does is it adds a little contrast. Let me go ahead and use the shape tool. I'll show you how to create a rectangle with the shape tool. Because it gives like a stand for the word defense, and then it makes the wins pop. So let's do the fill color. We're going to make it black, and then the stroke color we're going to do no stroke color. And as far as the layer, we're just going to bring it underneath the wins championships, and we'll also bring it below the defense. And we can change that to whatever color we want, but the black just kind of makes the point. And then also, like, if you're worried about having things that coordinate with it, I always try to put like a little bit of black in it because everybody has black sneakers or white sneakers. So you can, kind of make it flow with whatever, no matter if you're using crazy colors in the design or not. So now what I'm going to do, since I like the Wins Championships with the box, I'm going to grab both of those and Alt, click and drag them so I don't have to reformat this. I'm going to make sure we get behind the tallest one there.
Okay.
And let's see. So this one should say wins games. And then we want to center this. We actually want to center wins games. We want to center all of this text. And then it's probably going to throw me off a little bit, but I'll fix it. So all of this text, we go to the paragraph tool here. We should center justify it. And like I said, it was going to do that to me, but it's okay. There we go. And I think we're going to have to bring our guidelines back on here so that when you all are printing them. Now this is for an adult size. So it goes, let me see, I had to bring in one of my new templates. Because the new templates, instead of trying to size each one, like this is for an adult size large. So what I used to do back in the day is I would design a whole design and then I would resize it for every size. So if I needed smalls, I would resize it for smalls, mediums, all the way up to 5X. Well, now what I pretty much do is I have this this template that I created here. And this, I actually have this one for free, not the design on it, but it's just blank, and it shows you where the cutoffs are for the different sizes and the different bleed areas. So let me pull that down. Second. I'm going to pull this onto our new one because that was my old template there. Then I'm going to close out of that because I don't want too many big files, trying to run at one time. We'll go ahead and unlock these just so we can move them for the moment. And I don't know if y'all can see, but when that magenta line pops up in the center, that's how you know you're centered. And I'm going to get rid of this layer. So now you can see, like, if you're doing, the kids are probably smaller sizes. So I don't know if they're adult sizes or they wear youth sizes, but this would be an adult small, this first line here. So you want to be able to print this on an adult small and you not lose anything important. So this little dotted line right here, it's a box here. It's telling you not to put anything that you don't want to lose outside of that area. So it's called your text safe and your graphic safe area. And I'm going to go ahead and relock these because once I get them in place, I don't want to move them around again. I just hit delete and not lock. Alright. So we got those in place, and let's reduce the size of some of this now. So we have our offense. We'll move it to where we know we're not going to lose that. And we can get as high up as here. And then you can, I don't want to say shrink these, but you can reduce the size of these files because you're going to be printing obviously some youth shirts too. The youth templates, I have them in the Innate Creatives group. They're not templates that I've combined yet, but it's the Vapor Apparel templates, and they go youth extra small up to youth extra large, I believe. And we're going to go with this rectangle plus, I'm holding down my shift key so I can also add the win games. And I'm going to go ahead and link those together so that when I transform one, they transform as a team. And anytime I transform afterwards, I want to hit enter to lock in that transformation. And now we see how we have to shift our image to make sure that we don't lose this text here. And I would even venture to say to put this wins games below the image. So I'm going to pull it below our main image. So you still get the concept, but it's kind of like, you know how you have your magazine covers where you have the photo in front of the title of the magazine and you still know it's Sports Illustrated. So I like to have my layers touching a lot because you know how we try to get away with it with vinyl. You try not to touch things, but in sublimation you can make things look as intricate as you want, and I kind of do it on purpose. Give it that magazine look to it. And I'm just inching it down just a little bit so we see more of the word games. But I still want it to be layered there. All right. We are getting somewhere. So let's take the Wins Championships, and I'm going to shift, select the rectangle, and I'm going to link those together. And same thing here. I'm going to zoom in and make sure that I'm within this dotted area here. And I actually have a little room down here. I can bring that down. Alright, Control T here. It's going to allow me to transform it. I got it within my box. And let's go to the defense. Control T, transform this one, and I'm just going to shrink it in here enough to where I know I'm not going to lose anything important. Now same thing with the image. I don't want any faces. If I had like a little piece of an arm or something hanging out the box, I'm not too concerned. But when I have anything important like a face, I want to make sure that all of my faces are within my box too. And that's just going to save me heartache later on when you have all 15 printed out and you realize that 3 or 4 of them need to be resized because your picture is going to get cut off. Excuse me, guys. Alright, so now I'm going to fade off the edge of this ice because you know I don't do the hard lines. So let's do a layer mask. And when Photoshop gets mad at me for recording videos and having large files open, the bottom ones, if you can see, they're depressed. Like I can't touch them because they just don't like me right now. So another way you can do your layer mask is go to layer, layer mask, and reveal all. I'm going to grab my brush here, and I have my soft brush selected. Right click so I can reduce that brush size, and I'm going to come in and brush that off, fade it off. No more hard lines there. And then even here where I have this like abrupt ending of the arm here, I might even come in with my brush onto the layer mask, not on the photo. And just kind of fade that off a little bit. All right, y'all still there with me? I'm glad y'all like it. All right, I'm gonna take a second to see what the comments are. Got got disconnected. So I'm going to tell them to call me back. Call me. All right, so meanwhile, I'm going to be checking up. Yeah, Brush Easy is, you got it exactly correct. BRUSHEEZY. All right, let me answer this call. Oh, no, shoot. I'm so used to not answering my phone. I missed a hit decline. Hold on. My bad. Try again, please. Yeah, if y'all know anything about me, I try my hardest to stay off of my phone. I literally turn my phone on silent all day on Do Not Disturb, and I turn it upside down so I don't see it. That's the only way I get work done. I'm so sorry. I'm so used to not answering my phone. I hit decline instead of answer.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you got quiet for a second. I was like, I must be that good. I got her so quiet. She ain't even saying or nothing. All right. Okay, I was just checking to see if anybody on the live had any questions or anything to add to, because sometimes they help out. Let's see.
Okay.
They saying it looks good. That's wrong. Okay. So we get good feedback here. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so offense wins games, defense wins championships. Are we missing anything? We want to put the team name on, because on top of the ice, we can put the name of the team now. We can put the ballers if you want to do that.
Do you think it'd be too much?
Maybe we'll do it more like a, you know how like Michael Jordan might put his signature on stuff? You want to do it more like a signature font? And see how that looks? Let's see. Let's just type in. We had the perfect signature font yesterday that we used in a template. And it was actually a free font. And let me see if it's in one of my recent fonts. Dang, I don't think it is. And it was something weird. Matter of fact, it was it was something German. There we go. Herr von Mühlerhof. There we go. Let's see if it's going to come through for us today. And then we're going to place it on top of the ice so we can see it. We'll do it in white. And then we'll add like a little drop shadow so it'll just barely, it'll kind of barely be there. And let's drop that above everything. The ballers. So it'll kind of be like it's their slogan. How you know how you put like dash Albert Einstein, because that was his quote. So this would be like their motto. So let's see if I can make it visible. It's kind of tiny right now. It's Control T. Let's make it larger. So let's get into some ways of making this look a little transparent.
Oh, look at everything.
What's the shirt done to?
Here we go.
Yep.
Take our drop shadow. We'll make it a little less opaque.
Oh, that looks so nice.
You like that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's increase the size just a little bit. Yeah, and it starts to look like it's about to bling bling. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Top of the closet. Is it? Oh, they just want to bother me. My niece and nephew trying to check on me.
Oh, it is 1L.
Oh, okay. You know what happens? I type so fast that anytime I type double letters, well, I'm not that fast, but a lot of times when I'm typing double letters in Photoshop, because it's trying to catch up to me, that happens to me all the time.
Okay.
Now that one wasn't my spelling. My spelling brain just croaking on us tonight. That was my typing fingers being too speedy. All right. So how y'all liking it so far?
We love it.
Awesome. Now you could do you can do something to make the baller stand out more if you did like a heavier drop shadow or darker. But if you want it to not be so so out there, then I would keep it like this.
Okay.
So you let me know how you feel about it. Because the next thing I do, especially when I'm doing something, if I'm doing signs or anything that's supposed to kind of be a billboard, I'll back up out of it to see what I can see from farther away. So we're going to back up out of it just a second, just to see what stands out. And then I'm going to pull the ballers down a little bit so we can tell that those are the ice chunks right there. Because, we spent time finding those ice chunks. We want to make sure that people can see them. All right. So I'm going to turn off my guidelines. And I'm going to back up. And see what I see here. What are we missing? We're missing something. We're missing the sponsorship name. Now, I don't know. Is this going to be a front and back design or front only?
It'll be front only, but we could put, at the bottom, small letters. Next on thing.
Yeah, and this is all over. So you use them sleeves, you use them sides, whatever you have to use now. We can use it all.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say, you get a lot of attention when you put stuff on the sleeve areas, and if you're wanting to build your brand, that's a perfect place to put something. That's just my, opinion there.
Just do your thing.
So, what's, matter of fact, let's take the same way it says the ballers, and we're going to alt, click and drag that. And then we'll use a different font, but we'll use that same kind of a barely there type of look so that it doesn't look too pitchy. But what is the name of it? Something on?
Next on.
Next.
For Anderson.
Next. And then on. And we'll probably change this font so it looks a little more legible for the brand of the business.
Okay.
So when they see the word, they know. They know. All right. So let's do... I'm going to get fancy with y'all for just a second. Let's see. I don't know. I'm getting a little squirrel brain, which makes me go look for other things. Let's do on... Let's just look for the word on. Because I'm looking like for an on switch. Don't know why, but I think I have an idea. But let's see, on. I'm looking for something like that. So like it, like they have the design so like beast mode on, and then like it, like gamers and people that deal with that sort of thing is kind of something that strikes them. I was looking for something that would kind of bring that about. So let me see. On. It's not an on switch. It's a toggle. That's what it is. And now y'all see why it takes me forever to do designs, especially like if I don't have input. Yeah, you can imagine that. Yeah, I play with this kind of stuff all day.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, she probably plays this all day.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I got to start making templates, because if I did this all day and only sold this design one time, you can imagine what kind of trouble I'd be in, which is typically what kind of trouble I'm always in. So I said, if I put this much into something, I'm just going to, start sharing it. So that's where all this came from. So we got the one. And then we're going to play with this next and see how that looks. So I'm going to take off this on for right now. And then the word next we'll layer on top of the on. And then let's find us a cool next font. And that one, what was that? Let's see. I got some cool NCAA type fonts and stuff on here. Although they're the free version, so they don't have like a lot of the symbols and stuff. But if you're just using text, what is that one? Blade Runner looks kind of cool as next. And it didn't save my Blade Runner. Okay. Alright, Photoshop. You tripping tonight. Blade. But did you get a chance to see Blade Runner, see if you liked it?
I think, let me see. I didn't know which one it was because it was
the big one for it.
I'm going to shrink it down so you can see it. And then it's in the silver right now, so it's kind of hard to see it. Matter of fact, let me take off. And let's do... And it might be just a little too wide too. I kind of lose it a little bit when I put my effects on it. So I think it might be just a little too ornate with that line that goes through it.
Okay.
But you all let me know. If it's something that appeals to you, then...
Like, no? Like the one just now before that.
What was that?
Oh, I don't know which one it is now because it's flipping.
You know what? And then what's happening too is you're not seeing the fonts on the screen. Let me see if I can drag this over so you can see what fonts I'm looking at.
I like
the name of the fonts.
Where
is this going?
That one is very cool.
Oh, and then now I can't see the font because it's in front of everything. Alright, so let's move you back here. What's happening is it's showing up on my second screen, so you can't see the name of the font.
Okay.
So that's the problem that we're having. Is it more of like a block font that you want to see? Script?
Yes, that one right there.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I first clicked on. This is the NCAA Washington Huskies font here.
I like that one.
And then what I'm going to do is a duplicate of that. Real clear layer style. And then we're going to do the same thing, put that black behind it. So it'll stand out a little more. So we'll do a stroke there. And we'll do a solid color black. The next pops out. And then even if we put the same stroke, just copy that layer style, we'll paste it onto the on icon. So if we paste that, bring the opacity back, and then we let the next.
Oh, I like that.
You like it kind of looking like a drop shadow?
Yes, I like that.
Bring that up a little bit, and then let's do on here, we'll do drop shadow. We'll up the opacity, up the distance, and we'll make it a little bit of a harder edge than that soft glow, and it kind of makes it stand out a little bit more.
Okay.
Now, is it next on? Is it next on graphics, apparel?
On print and design.
Okay, I thought it was something else. Okay, so now we'll do printing and design. We'll do printing and design in like a nice, clean, standard font like the Baby's New. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But everybody knows what I'm talking about with that one. So it's printing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
printing and design.
With the ampersand symbol or the word and?
You can put the symbol.
Okay, gotcha. And I don't normally do all this on these templates, but I figured while I had y'all here, and I know that y'all are getting ready to show out for an event, I might as well.
So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps us, like I said, while we're doing this, other people are watching and learning right now, so it's working out. And then if I need to, I could even take like this on. Let's say it's not as substantial as I want it to be. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to go to the on symbol, create a new layer. I'm going to grab my paint bucket and make sure I'm on my new layer. So we'll go to layer, new layer. And now that I'm on my paint bucket, I have the option to hold down my Alt key and it turns into a color picker. So I'm picking up that color blue and I'm going to paint bucket the blue right over that letter on. Or the word on. So select, deselect. I don't see on anymore. So I want my on to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to type my own on. O-N. Okay. And then we'll make it, what was it? It was white before, I believe. We'll make it white. Control T will allow us to transform it, resize it. And my resizing is going a little slow. So hopefully, you know what I need to do? Control S and save this thing. I am tripping. I did all of this work. Okay, let me be quiet while it's saving, because it's still on 0%. Okay, 23. Oh Lord. So now let's say we've got the on. I'm going to grab my white there and we'll do layer, new layer. And I'm just going to show out and go ahead and do that white there. And we're going to make this button look like it's kind of 3D a little bit. Select, deselect. Okay. So we're going to take the word on in that button, Control G, we're going to group it. And then we're going to do like a bevel and emboss on it.
Okay.
Pillow emboss. And see how it's making the button look like it's kind of 3D a little bit now?
Mm-hmm.
And what you think?
I love it. It looks good.
All right. All right, so we're going to group all that, and that'll be your little logo you can play with for later. And then you'll have all the editable elements. So all of that, I'm doing Control. Well, I held down Shift. I'm going to group it. And I'm going to call this Next On Logo. I'm supposed to be moving it, not using the paint bucket. And we'll kind of move this to where we got to turn our guides back on. Make sure we don't cut that off no matter what size shirt we're using. There we go.
Okay.
And now it's kind of like, you know how you see the NBA jerseys and the sports jerseys and stuff, and they have the sponsors on the sleeves or at the neck of the design? You might as well, use that as an excuse to put your logo all over everything. Okay. All right. So it should be well within the area to print your smalls. But if you're going to print this for youth sizes, you probably want to shrink this whole file. Best bet for that is to get your extra large youth template and get a small youth template, whichever your smallest and your largest size are, and just make sure that the template is resized for that. And if you need help with that, if you let me know what sizes you're going to be doing, because you won't have Photoshop in time. Matter of fact, I guess I'll be showing y'all how to do that too, because I know the people online have been asking. And I think I have my Vapor. Let me see if I have my Vapor on here. So it's going to be youth template. And I think I have it. Let me see. Paper. That's the adult. I'm looking for the youth templates. They have a Dropbox for it. So this is how all of you that are online right now, if y'all are looking for these templates that I don't have the group template for yet, let's do templates, and we're gonna go with youth. It's on here somewhere. So y'all were asking me about the onesies. There they are. The youth baby one piece is on there. I'm looking for the youth basic performance, and they even have the toddler sizes on here. So what's the smallest shirt do you think you'll be doing for the kids? Or if you're making them for the kids.
Small.
Okay, so we have an adult or youth small here.
What's the biggest size you think?
The biggest size is 2.
Do it. Show that.
So I'm going to download this youth small, and then basically we'll know if it goes higher than that. Then usually if it goes up to a youth large, that's almost the same as an adult small. So we already have adult small on there. I just want to make sure that even for the smallest of the kids, that that we should be able to make sure that we can rescale it. So I'm going to directly download, and you'll see why the little templates that I make are really important, because you would have to download every single size template and then make sure that your graphics fit on each size. So that's why I like my little, one size fits all type of template. It made it a lot easier for especially like first time designers. So let's bring that one in. It's going to open in Illustrator, but I'm only doing that so I can grab the outlines for it. So maybe, possibly this weekend, I'll do the youth template that I've been saying I'm going to do. Let that open, and meanwhile I'm going to go ahead and save, because Illustrator and Photoshop open at the same time. It's not always a good idea. Probably never a good idea while you're recording live. So just letting you know, whatever issues I run across, I try to tell y'all the truth and give you the real game, because
We appreciate that.
yeah, because see, now my computer's telling me high CPU usage detected. You may experience performance issues, and yeah, I know that. So I'm gonna try to get out of this Illustrator real quick. So let's see if I can. Yeah, I hear the computer breathing hard too. It's okay, baby. I'm almost done. Let me see if right now these layers are probably locked, and they are. I'm going to unlock them just so I can grab this shirt right here, Control C, I'm going to copy it. And I should be able to paste it. It's a smart object. And you see the difference between a youth small, right? But the idea is that I'm trying to see that if I were to use this same exact template, how much I would be losing. And you can see there is some substantial loss there. So what we would have to do is basically create, let me go ahead. I'm going to delete all the stuff I don't need, because this will basically be a whole new template. Cool. I love when I spend a lot of time on something and I can reuse it for something. Alright, so I'm going to clean all this up since we don't need the tigers, any of that stuff. We can clean it up. That way it won't be huge for no reason. I'll leave the tiger eyes in there if y'all ever want to play with them.
Okay. Say that again?
Oh, I was just letting you know I'll leave those tiger eyes in there if y'all want to play with them.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Alright, so we'll get rid of all the words we don't need. And then I'll bring this template up top. I'm going to turn it off for a second.
Okay.
And everything that's on here, excluding my logo. When you get ready to print, what you're going to do is you're going to turn this layer off, and then this layer will stay on. The one that kind of covers up the sleeves and everything.
Yeah.
And now I'm even thinking I might take the white off of the edges of the sleeves. Let me see. Or maybe since we have black on here now, let's make that black. So let's do a color overlay and let's do black real quick. See what that looks like.
Okay.
Since we put the black in the words there. And then what I'm going to do is get my brush. And this is where you get to go in with cool brushes. Let's see what we want to do. Just some sparks. You said lightning, right? You like lightning?
Yeah.
Let's go in with lightning brush. Now this is on a whole nother layer, so it's cool. We're playing with it right now. And I'm just trying to see if I can make some lightning happen from the edge of the sleeve. Why not? And the good thing about it is it's a color overlay on here. So whatever I'm doing right now, I can change the color of it. So if I wanted to go back to that icy gray color, I can go to my color overlay. Choose that gray.
You love that black on the side.
Oh, you did like the black. Well, let's stay with the black. Like I said, we get a little accent going on here. And my brush is kind of flipping around. And let me close out of this Illustrator while I don't need it. While I'm over here playing with this lightning. Nope, I don't need to save that. Clear clipboard. And I can also increase the size of my brush. And even choose a different lightning. If I want to make it look a little more random. So now I have more of the straight lightning. Then I can go back and get some of my wide lightning. And I'm trying to avoid the ones that point the other way because I'm really trying to make this come up from the sleeve. Excuse me. Uh-oh. We got disconnected again. Did we get disconnected again?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It might be me over here. I am in the sticks. All right. So we're playing with this lightning still. Let's grab a new lightning. There we go.
I like the lightning.
All right, so we got the lightning element in there, and you know, this side had the standard white. We're gonna go ahead and turn that one off. We got our lightning now. We'll do duplicate that layer, and then we'll Control T to transform it. Right click, flip it horizontal, and let's drag it to the other side.
Oh, it looks so good.
And it brings that black in, so now it kind of anchors the image. It brings the black in, so you can, you know, wear it with, you know, black sweatpants or any black shoes, and it kind of, you know, draws that lightness and gives it some contrast. So one more thing I wanted to do, let's do the canvas size for this one. I'm going to lock it to the middle, make the canvas size be 44 by 36. So if you ever wanted to print this, that's probably the biggest you'll print it, all the way up to 3x, possibly even a 4x.
Okay. Do we need to download a specific program?
Well, you're going to be printing, like what program do you currently use to print to your large format printer?
We just actually got everything. We was practicing pictures, but no art.
Well, when you're printing pictures, what are you using, the like the Windows? Because you know Windows has a program that allows you to just print straight up photos. I know a lot of people using that.
Straight from our Mac into the Epson. We got T 7200, 7250.
Okay.
7270. It's 7270, so we use straight from Epson.
Right.
My computer can share files and chat print.
And I think the only problem that you possibly will run into with sublimation, depending on what type of inks you use, is whether you're going to require a color profile. Now, the inks that I use and offer, I don't necessarily ever have to use a color profile because I tell Photoshop to manage my colors, and there's no ICC profile. So pretty much what I see on my screen is what prints. But I will tell you that it depends on the type of printer you're using, and you're going to figure it out. The biggest thing is your reds being consistent and your blues and purples, like, and getting the color I like to call blurple, where you think you're printing blue, but when you press it, it turns purple. But like I said, you're going to get a good eye for that when you start trying to match colors. Right now, if you're printing photographs, it's not real, not real apparent. Skin might look a little more red or a little more orange than you might like it to look, but for the common person, they're not going to be able to tell. But if you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to match your sneakers, and they're red sneakers, and then the red comes out more orange or more pink, then they're going to be like, that's not red, so just pay attention to that, and you will learn as you go along. There's no escaping that. You're going to be learning firsthand. So I promise you, this first job, you probably won't run into that, because you're dealing with a color that you're not really trying to match anything, but you're trying to get a vibe from this color. You're trying to get that ice vibe, and you're going to get that. I doubt it's going to turn out purple, but eventually you want some type of color management set up. But what do you think, guys? Is that it?
We love it.
We had it? Okay, so what I'm going to do, you have the separate layers here. I'm also going to, for this little bitty version here, it says to give a 3-inch border around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a guideline real quick. That's on 30. So I want to go up to 33. And I'm just making up a little guideline real quick. So that's 32. That should be 33. That can't. Oh, you know what? That's 30, 32, 33. I don't know if this shirt pulled in the scale. It should have, because it came straight from Illustrator. But I'm not certain. So what I'll do is I'm going to check it against my adult sizes. It looks about right, though. I'm just thinking that looks like a heck of a wide 3 inches, but that's what it says. So I'm going to do a stroke around it. And I'm going to push that stroke out until it looks like a good enough bleed where I could believe that's a small. I'm sorry, what was that?
He said we'll probably be doing more regular smalls than youth smalls.
Then youth smalls, got you. So what we'll do, I'm going to change the fill color to be 0 right now. And see, this kind of lets me know if I were doing a youth small, you see that inside right there? And I think it's talking about the bleed too. Maybe that 3 inches also needs to encompass some of the inside area. But most of our design actually fits inside of this because we were obedient and stayed in that little that little dotted line there. So what I would suggest that you do, if you're going to print these specifically for smalls, and maybe even your youth mediums, what you probably want to do is take your whole file and just scale it down a little bit. Instead of printing it at 100% size, then maybe you want to scale it down to like 87% size. So then that way you are sure that, and just print one at 87%, and make sure that all of that stuff fits on your youth shirt, your smallest youth shirt. And then you kind of have a gauge. Okay, and when I make an adult template, I scale it to 79% every time, or whatever your golden point is. And it depends on what shirt you're using too. So these are for the vapor shirts. You might be using the jerseys 21Ms, or the kid sizes is the 21Bs. If you're using those, different sizes. So but this is just to give you an idea of how extremely different the youth shirts can be from the adults. And you see how we would lose all of the lightning on the sides here?
I see. So
you definitely want to know, what is this? If I'm going to reduce this to this, that's probably more of like I might even say a 70% reduction you might need to do in order to get those details. And even for the adult shirts, let me take this off. If I'm printing this adult small, right? See how much of the lightning I'm going to miss there? So if I want more of this, and that's why it always looks cool to design on the biggest shirt, but people miss out sometimes because you're not going to get all those details only if you're a 4X. So if I want these details, let me grab my lightning layers. I'm going to call this lightning sleeve. Lightning sleeve, and this will be I'm going to delete it until I get it the right size that I want. I'm going to go ahead and make this wider, bring it in. So the 4X will get it a little bit, but at least we'll still see this.
Okay.
And it's not going to hurt it to come into the design a little bit more. But now you'll see the adult small will still get that black seeping in with the lightning coming in.
Yes.
When before you probably wouldn't even see it on the adult small.
Okay.
And then your 4X will just have some extra meat. Some extra meat up to the design out there. Alright, so we will duplicate that layer then. And Control T to transform it. We're going to flip it horizontal and Shift. Bring it over. And there we go. That's our design.
Oh, it's so pretty.
So I'm gonna send it. You will have your Photoshop file. So by the time you get Photoshop, you'll be ready to play with this and going all over the place. But for right now, what I'm going to do is save this right now as we'll save in general, and then I'm going to save this as a JPEG. And it doesn't really matter to save it as a PNG because I don't have a transparent background on it. It actually uses this white layer to block out the color underneath. But you will know.
Okay.
Grab your youth shirt, measure pretty much from sleeve to sleeve, and then give yourself at least an additional 4 inches on that. So if sleeve to sleeve, you could tell this sleeve to sleeve on this one here is 44 inches, but let's say sleeve to sleeve on your youth shirt is 29, 30 inches. Then you just use that to kind of reduce down this image and see that it should still give you. So if it was 30 inches, you're going to add at least 4 inches, so 34 inches, and then say, okay, well, if I print this at 34 inches wide, that should cover my youth smalls and youth mediums, and then from there you should be able to use this template for everything bigger than a youth medium.
Okay.
So let me do what I said I was going to do. I'm saving, and then I'm going to save as a JPEG. as well. Whew, so we got a new template tonight, guys.
Oh.
Yeah. We put in some work. What time is it now? 9 o'clock? We didn't do too bad. We did an hour and a half to create a whole new design. That's not bad.
I don't know how long it takes. I never made one.
Oh, I have spent hours upon hours upon hours. But I think the other thing is I'm trying to show people when I do create templates what goes into them, so that they understand not to just give them away or sell them and that sort of thing. So they understand the love and the work that goes into it, and by basically keeping it tight. It helps keep me being able to go on YouTube and tell y'all how to do this stuff. Okay, so let's see if we got any feedback. Everybody says it looks good, looks awesome, phenomenal. Look at that. Okay, that's bomb right there. Okay. Yep, Sylvia, you're right. It was the Hervon. She was talking about the font. She was helping me remember the name of that font. She was right. Okay. Good job. So we got all positive feedback. Everybody in the group so far feels like design is powerful too. So y'all are going to be on it.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Appreciate it so much.
And I'm going to go ahead and email this to y'all tonight so you can get on your troubleshooting. If you need me for anything, just probably shoot me an email or a text message, because I told y'all about my problem with answering the phone. And I'll be looking out for y'all, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. And I will talk to y'all soon. All right, YouTube. Good night.
Good night.
Yes, I will talk to y'all soon, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's see, YouTube, y'all still there? Keisha, graduation pic. Remind me, was that the one that I did a template of? If I did a template of it, then usually what I'm doing is I'm posting the templates up in the NA Creatives group, and then if it happens to be your image that I used, go ahead and message up underneath that your email, so I can issue you a credit so you can purchase the template. Well, you won't be purchasing it, you'll get it for free. So, and then if I'm not remembering the right one, just remind me. Y'all, my mind is all over the place. I'm trying to get it together. Maybe we can get it together. Sylvia, yes, I posted last night's templates. Well, I posted the graduation templates. I'm going to stay up a little while later and post the other templates that we did. We did one, the Soul and Soul. We did a champion one, and we did a couple more. I can't think off the top of my head, but I'm going to go ahead and post those as templates tonight too. That way I can catch y'all up on templates, and if y'all need any of that stuff, they will be available for you. And try again, you remember the font name too. Y'all are amazing, you know that? So Keisha, message me, or if you see it on one of the templates that I did, remind me which one is your son's graduation picture, because I probably did do it. If it's the one I'm thinking about, it's already in a template, and all I have to do is just send you the credit so that you can purchase that template through the website. Y'all have any questions for me while I'm here? Oh, Natasha, when it tells you the size, when it says 13 by 19, that's just default. This website is not really intended to do the graphics the way that we're doing them. So it's going to just say a size on there. If it looks like an all over template, like you saw when I designed it on the video, it's all over. It will give you an all over template when you download the link. If you saw that when we started designing the graphic, it was a 13 by 19 kind of transparent background, that's what you're going to get. So whatever the file is inherently, that's what you'll get, even though it says 13 by 19. I apologize for that being misleading. I probably need to change that setting on there. Thank you, Sylvia. That means a lot to me to be called a good teacher, because you know I tries. And Ken, you're absolutely welcome. And thank you. I appreciate it. So I know there are a lot of things coming up in the near future. We've got Mother's Day and some other stuff coming on. So if you all give me some ideas on what you want to start seeing as templates. Graduation is heavy right now, so I'm getting a lot of requests for graduation and and remembrance shirts. So if you have anything outside of those, or even if you want one of those and you just want something different, just let me know and I can start pulling together those images and templates for you. Oh, Natasha, I need to, I think you did email me email me again. I'm sorry. Email me again, because what I need to do is look at your email and I need to apply a store credit. So what'll happen is when you go to checkout, it'll have an option where you can use your money or you can use store credit, and you're going to use the option to use the store credit, and it will let you download or it will let you buy that template with the store credit. So that's how I'm going to start doing it, so that I know who I'm giving store credit to, so that I kind of fairly help people with the giveaways and don't necessarily choose the same ones over and over again. It kind of helps me keep track of that. All right, my loves. I don't see any more questions here. Jesse, thank you. One of our faithful attendants. Always chiming in, always have something nice to say. I appreciate it, Jesse. So y'all let me know what y'all want to see next. Of course, we got graduation, and so far I've got Mother's Day next. So definitely comment in the Innate Creatives group what you want to see next. All right, guys, I appreciate you. I love you, and good night to you.